This is Between the Lines. Today, we dissect the road less traveled.
Hello, welcome back. And we are again with the Road Less Traveled, chapter 24, The Risk of Loss. And just to recap in a sentence only, we've been talking that love is about work, effort, and also about courage, because we need to take action despite our fears. That is what we normally call getting out of our comfort zone, right? So in this chapter, we're talking about loss and how this risk that we affront when we love somebody um, is part of life and also of love. And the doctor mentions here a case of a lady, just a generic case, um, about a lady living alone, lonely, having not even a plant, no friends, no phones, no pets, and anything, because she was afraid of death, of losing everyone else in her life. So she decided just to shut down all her contacts and be alone. And that's a possibility, of course, of life, how you decide to live your life. But if you prefer not to even connect, remember that we talked about connect is like this falling in love, which is not actually real love or the love that we build, but not even taking the risk to connect to other being um, can be like a symptom or can be part of this decision of preferring to not take action and just being on your own and let fear conquer you. The worst part of it is that if we avoid taking this risk or taking action against or in spite of our fears, we risk to even becoming like almost non-existent, because we are afraid of rejection, of loss from the other person or the other beings around. And of course, if we live, we are subject or we are exposed to, for example, if we trust somebody, we are exposed for them to betray you or to deceive you, or sometimes to get hurt, and you can be lied to, they can let you down. Those kind of things happen in life and they are part of life. And I don't know if you remember, we talked about something like this in the previous section, discipline, when the doctor mentioned that a life, a life lived at its fullest is also a life that brings you joy, but at the same time it brings you pain. So you have to live with those two factors all the time. But if you don't want to have any pain in your life and you start leaving everyone aside, you are alone and therefore you don't feel pain, but at the same time you are not only not living at your fullest, but you are also diminishing yourself, not being able to extend yourself, as we always talk about love and trying to become um, greater than our current selves every day. And also this is mentioned by the doctor, and I think we have mentioned this several times, that any attempt to avoid this suffering in our lives of this pain, we are what could be we are like buying ourselves the possibility of a mental illness in the future, right? Because every single time that we decide not to take action and not to conquer this fear, we are like becoming less and less and less, and also at the same time um, setting a seed for a possible mental illness in the future. So even it's just for that thing that you don't want to become, it could be, you could approach this from two sides. Maybe you want to grow and be better and become an improved self every time by conquering your fears. Maybe not every day, but every time you have those fears, you can conquer them. Or you could decide to just avoid them totally and start to go to the other side, to the mental illnesses side, right? This is the doctor's words. I will leave the quote by him. I have it here. He said, and we have said again many times, the attempt to avoid legitimate suffering lies at the root of all emotional illness. So that's important for you to understand or to have in mind. And another thing that caught my attention, I had completely forgot about this, is that the doctor mentions a book called The Teachings of Don Juan, which is by Carlos Castaneda. And he mentions that these books of Castaneda are like a psychotherapeutical process, like explaining all the things that you go through, like a journey of your own exploration, we could say, something like that. And he also mentions that in the book, Castaneda says that we are always traveling with death, whispering to us on our left shoulder. So we must, or in order to be able to cope with this pain and know that we will be with pain and joy all the time because we are living, we must accept that death will be whispering wisdom words on our left shoulder. And if we want to completely avoid that, then again, we are practically not living. It's not that we are living less, but we are not living and we are diminishing ourselves. So yes, this was a short chapter, but I think it's dense in a sense where it makes us think that we must be able to conquer our fears, even the fear of death or losing somebody that we love, or we want or we appreciate in our lives. And that's it. So if you want to comment, you are welcome to. I appreciate your comments every time. And of course, see you next Sunday. Bye bye. Bing, 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 bing.
Stay tuned for Uluwa's next episode.